Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines. Today I'm going to open door 2 in Stampin' Up's 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. The calendar comes with a stamp set with 24 images. Yesterday I opened door number 1 and revealed these amazing dies in door number 1. So I made a card and stamped the envelope using stamps, paper, ink, the stamp set that comes with the advent calendar, and the dies that are in door number 1. Today I'm going to open door number 2 utilizing the stamp set, maybe the dies, and basic white cardstock, a few ink pads, limited supplies. I am going to make a project and using what's under door number 2. This advent calendar box is absolutely beautiful. I am going to work on a repurposing project to use the box once all the doors are open. So all of these doors have perforation around them. There's a little half circle you push down and then it's perforated. So you can use your fingernails or a bone folder to just kind of go along that perforation. That's going to help open these doors. So this door is pretty big. So what is in door number 2? I'm excited to see, excited to make a project with it. And oh my goodness, it's absolutely beautiful. There, it looks like designer series paper. Look at the 6x6 designer series paper. Looks like it's one-sided and it is absolutely beautiful. It does resemble the stamp set. I'm going to bring the stamp set back in. It resembles some of the stamped images and some of the floral images. So let's see. Looks like we have Pretty in Pink. Looks like maybe Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, might be Old Olive. That looks like Basic Gray. So 6x6. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Design 2 pieces of that print. This looks like Basic Gray. And then we have Misty Moonlight White Crushed Curry. 2 of those, absolutely beautiful. Here looks Pretty in Pink, maybe Flirty Flamingo, or Flirty Flamingo, and Old Olive. Oh, this is beautiful. It all is one-sided. Sometimes that's great because when you love both sides, it's hard to choose which side to use. Great background, works perfect. Another Basic Gray background, white flowers and crushed curry centers. Looks like this is Old Olive. Oh, this is beautiful. You know what? This somewhat resembles the paper that I created my own designer series paper. So using the colors on the outside of the box and created this in yesterday's project. This is absolutely beautiful. You only get 2 sheets, but you can use your stamps and create your own background paper, just like I did in yesterday's video tutorial. If you missed yesterday's, I'll put it in the text comment or the text portion of the video, and so you can see yesterday's video. Beautiful designer series paper. So I'm going to create a project with this. I am going to pause the video, get some supplies ready, and then I will be back momentarily to make a project using the product that was in door number 2. I'll be right back. Friends, I'm back and I am going to be making a card using the designer series paper that was behind door number 2. The toughest decision was what paper to use. I'm also using the stamp set and the dies so the stamp set comes with the kit. The dies were in door number 1. Paper was in door number 2. And the toughest decision was what designer series paper to use. So we only have 2 designs of each of the prints. So I want to use them sparingly. And I will let you know when it's a solid or a smaller detail. I usually just use smaller pieces to maximize vein paper. When you have designer series paper that has a bigger design on it, and I'm not sure, maybe I'll reference this one right here. Sometimes I want to show a larger section of that just to showcase the paper. But I have decided to use this design and a little bit of this design. So I only need these 2 pieces, so I'm going to set all the rest aside. Now keep in mind, the card that I create, you could utilize any of these papers doing the same thing. And as I mentioned in video number 1, I'm trying to use just white cardstock, white envelopes, and ink. So stamps, paper, and ink, and a few tools. And each day we're going to be revealing what's behind another box or another door. So we never know what it is. So it will be more things to help us be creative with. So in saying that, I did reference to, let me talk about the inks before I go to the next step. So yesterday I had Misty Moonlight, Crushed Curry, Garden Green, and Night of Navy. So I'm going to keep those in my collection of using for the following projects for up till day 12. But I have added Pretty in Pink and Old Olive to the collection. So right now I have 6 different ink pads, keeping in mind you can choose different colors that I'm using. Now I am going to reference a card sketch from the card sketch booklet that is a free gift at a $75 order from me if you select me as your demonstrator when you're shopping. And many of these would work. Actually, we've got sketches in here that have different width strips of layers. Layers can be stamped cardstock, designer series paper, textured cardstock. So I am going to actually go with Card Sketch 121. And the reason I chose that is you have 4 strips that are 1 inch by 3 inches. That's only going to use a 2-inch section of this paper. And then another piece here is 5.5 by 1. That's only going to use 1 inch of this paper. And that's going to allow me to have more paper left to do other things with. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the cardstock first, or the paper first. Bring in my paper trimmer. And I mentioned it's 1 by 3. So I am going to use this trimmer and use the number 1 mark over here, the 1-inch mark. And I'm going to cut a 1-inch strip, 2 1-inch strips. We need 4 1 by 3s. These are 1 by 6. So I have those. So this is what I have left to use for another project. I'm going to take these 6-inch strips and cut them down to be 3 inches. Even though it's a bigger design, I still have beautiful prints on these smaller sections. So that's what I'm going to do with this paper. And then for this print, I need a 1-inch section. I'm going to mark right over here at 1 inch. And this one is 5.5. So that leaves me this whole section left. I still have 5 by 6 on this size, that one. So I'm going to put this at 1/2 inch. And I have that much waste, and I'm just going to toss that. So I do have my card base cut already, and that is 8.5 by 5.5 folded at 4 1/4, scored and folded. So let's bring that card sketch back in. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together before then we'll talk about the decorative images. On these card sketches, decorative images can be any size or shape. Sometimes on this diagram they're showed in an oval or a circle. That's just representing an image or a cluster of images, but they can be any shape. So I have an oval here that says decorative images. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but first I'm going to assemble this. So we start from the bottom and work our way up. So maybe that wasn't even can you guys see that on the camera? Here we go. This decorative image is oval shaped, but it can be any size. So I'm going to scoot this over so you can still see that. And we want to start from the bottom and work our way up. So behind this strip are 4 strips of 1 by 3, and they are offset. Now the beauty of a card sketch it is the beginnings, a starting point for your inspiration. So it is kind of offset like this, but you could make them all straight. You can offset these and in any shape you want, or even tilt them. So you can decide what you want to be visible, you know, top or bottom, all of that. I think I will flip this one over. That flower looks like it was upside down, and I might even flip this one over. And I'm going to put them like this. So now it's a matter of where I want to place them. So what I am going to do, if these are 4 inches across, and if I had, I think I'll go with about that kind of spacing. So I'm going to start with this one right here. I'm going to bring my silicone craft mat in and just put my adhesive behind here. Now, if you wanted to, you can figure out measurements. I'm going to just look at this and say, this is about a 3/8 of an inch spacing here. It's going to be down a little bit more, less spacing on the bottom than on the side. And I'm going to place that one right here. Then I'm going to go over to this one and put about the same spacing I have from card edge to this edge of the paper, from this card edge to that edge of the paper. So I'm going to go with that one next. And this one's a bit higher, and what I'm kind of seeing on my card sketch is it's equal spacing on the side and the top. So I'm going to look for approximately equal spacing, and we're gonna just say that's going to be good right there. Now this one goes down and that one goes up. So now what I'm going to do is just place these and look for about the same spacing here, here, and here. And you can pick any of them to start with. You just have 2 left to adhere. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to have this one up about here. Look for about equal spacing. And this is just approximate. You don't have to be perfect for this. And take this one. And this one's going to be down a little bit. Look for equal spacing. And I'm going to say I'm going to be good with it right like that. Now this is going to go over the top like this. Now there is a ribbon wrapped around with a bow. I'm not using that ribbon, that's optional. I'm just going to go with this strip and go across like this. And it looks to be about center, equal spacing on the card sketch, but you are free to move this any location you want. And I'm actually going to keep it about equal. So I have not made this card yet as far as what the supplies I have selected here. And oops, I gave myself lots of options for decorative images. I'll talk about those in a moment. So I think that's about equal spacing. I'm going to go flush here, get that about equal so I don't have it straight. Let's see. We're going to say, I think that is good. So that's the base. Now it's putting the decorative images on. So let me show you how I did these. So some might be pretty obvious because it's just stamping, but there are some tips I want to share with you. So if you have a brand new ink pad or an ink pad that you just put ink in it and you stamp a solid image and you feel that it's bubbling, you're getting like too much ink on your project, I'm going to suggest that you take a plastic spoon, the curved part of the plastic spoon, and just move the ink on your ink pad. Because it's too much ink on your ink pad, you have the best coverage when it's not a lot of ink, but enough ink. So then you just tap, 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 and I'm tapping without pushing. I'm making contact, lifting up, making contact. I'm not pushing into the ink pad. And then I'm going to stamp even pressure and get that ink to absorb. Now, yesterday's video, I talked about getting a line. I was going in a hurry. I had so much ink on my fingers when I was working that if you get ink on the edge and you rock it, if you get ink on the edge of your block and rock it, or aren't careful going straight down, you get lines on your project. If you're making designer series paper, if you're die cutting it, we're only worried about the perimeter area around the image. So that's going to be die cut. But before I ink it again, and I should have done this right away because I got chit-chatting. Maybe there's not enough ink. See, it dried already. So what you want to do, I'm going to do this again. And I'm just going to do it and not do my chit-chatting. Going to stamp, make even pressure, let the ink absorb in, and then lift it and re-stamp it. And because there's still some ink on your ink, and you know why it's not working for me? I forgot to put my silicone craft mat underneath. So learning lessons, my videos are not edited. It is not live, but I am not starting over. It is a recording. I'm recording this going to try to drop my videos 10 o'clock Central Time for the next 11 days. So let's see if this works for me this time. It should. It did earlier, and it's not very dark, but that's how I got these. I got those by double stamping. So then I die cut these and these, and I do have Pretty in Pink. So that's how I got those. But I don't know if you saw these little flowers. I'm going to show you how I got those. So because I want them to be visible, I'm going to do it in a darker color or straight on. I took the butterfly stamp. I stamped the butterfly stamp. Then I re-inked it, and then I rotated it. So I just rotated it to put the wings between, stamped it again, and then I got a flower shape. That's how I got these. So then I stamped centers in each of those. So I hope that was helpful. Now, yesterday I created designer series paper, and if you go to yesterday's video, I showed you how I created it on the envelope. I did the same thing when I paused between my first video revealing what's behind door number 2. And when I stamped these, I actually stamped the envelope flap as well. And I did this concept right here, right here, right here, and right here. So I used the butterfly. So that's how I got all of that. I stamped a little bit of the greenery in there because that's on the designer series paper. So I kind of looked at this for a reference on how to stamp the coordinating envelope. Okay, let's assemble the card. Now I'm going to move this out of the way here. I have several things. I have 3 of these Pretty in Pink flowers, 3 of them stamped off, so the lighter version. Then I have 2 of these, and then I stamped the butterfly and then the butterfly body and cut out with a scissors. I stamped the leaves and I cut those out with the scissors. So I'm not going to use all of these, but I'm going to use a few of them. So I am actually going to start by putting one of these flowers, and I'm just going to put one dimensional on the bottom of it, or one dimensional. So I'm going to place that first. Then I think I'm going to place this flower, also just one dimensional, right in the center. And I'm going to place that flower right here. I'm going to take one of these little ones that I created with the butterfly, put one dimensional, and I'm going to tuck that one right here. Now these are just the little stamps. Let me see, do I still have that? So here we go. So this is a stamp, but when I cut it out, I avoided cutting out that little piece, and I just went around like so. I am going to bring in my silicone craft mat and my liquid glue. going to put a little liquid glue on here. I'm going to dab the stem part of this leaf in the liquid glue and then put it underneath the flower and the petal. And I can reach this in a ways because I do not have, I only have one dimensional there. That gives me room to put that in a little bit. You can use mini glue dots for this as well. And so I just decided to add a little bit of greenery around this flower, not around that one. And then if you wanted to, if you don't want to use the liquid glue, you can use mini glue dots. I love mini glue dots. They are fairly, fairly strong. Just going to take one off of here, and actually I'm going to put two on here. I'm going to put two really close to each other. I sometimes feel if you only put one on, it can allow your image to swirl a little bit. Two anchors it a little bit. And what I'm going to do is just place this butterfly right up here in the corner. Now, I didn't plan this, but I might think about what you could do is add a sentiment over here. There were no sentiments on this card sketch, but you can still add that. But for now, I'm going to say that's good. We've got a matching envelope. Plus, I have these extra pieces here that I can use for another project. I hope you enjoyed this video. And tomorrow, I will have video 3, day 3 video revealing what is behind door number 3 and making a project with the supplies. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care and happy creating. Friends, I just want to pop back in and say that I decided to put a sentiment on this card. I stamped the thinking of you on a 3/4 inch strip of basic white, cut it on an angle and just tucked it underneath, adhered it with my stamp and seal. So this is card from day 1. This is day 2. And at the end of the 12-day series, I will put all of these projects into a PDF and have a project sheet with photos, the supply list, links to the appropriate videos, and that PDF will be for all my team members and anybody who purchases the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar, selecting me as their demonstrator. Hope you enjoy the series of videos. See you tomorrow. Take care and happy creating.